Hello and welcome to this video. Now this is a short series of videos that's going to look at rendering, and I'm going to look at some basic materials. So we're going to start off with wood. We're going to do that in pencil and then colored pencil, and then we're going to look at some other things. So we're going to maybe look at some flat colors, how we can make things shiny. We're going to look at maybe some plastics, and then maybe some stone, in this case a lump of concrete that I found in the garden. So this is what we're going to do over the next few videos. I'm going to break it down into small chunks again so it's a little bit more manageable for you. So I'm going to take some of these out of the way, and we're going to start with the wood. Now these all follow the same kind of the same principles, and once you've got one, you think, I can do this, and it's about looking. You know, all these things are always about looking. And as I say, you know, this isn't art. We're not trying to make something that looks really like the wood. If we did, we would just do it on the computer and it would look exactly like wood. But this is kind of more for design. So this is getting materials across in design. So if I look at this wood, and this is a bit of picture frame that I had from something else. I distressed it. I added some stain into it to bring the grain out, and then I rubbed it back. But we can look at the wood and we can see that on the end grain here, where the kind of tree, you know, the tree grows like that, and we get the growth rings. We can see the growth rings follow around like that. Now where the growth ring meets the end or the edge of the wood, the long grain follows along. So that long grain is actually this growth ring chopped down through it like that. So, you know, that flows round and then down. So where it hits that side, it then goes straight. And one of the things that people do when they're rendering wood, they put this kind of end grain, because that's what they know about wood. It has grain like that. They put it on all the sides, and it's just not right. So the end grain, this ringed end grain, only goes on one side. And where it meets the long grain, it then goes straight. So I'm going to put that to the side for 1 second. Now, on this, I'm going to just refocus this because I had things on it. All right. So these are all going to be the same, and I'm going to do all of these as a series of videos. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos like that, maybe some more. By the end of that, you'll be so sick of me that you're probably already so sick of me, but even more so by then. All right, so like all our other videos, we're going to start with the tone in these boxes. So I've done a 2-dimensional one and a 3-dimensional one. So I've got the flat tone. I'm going to put them onto both of these. Now, the same as my other videos, when you watch the rendering one, I'm going to add the flat tone. Now in this case, obviously this being flat, it's just going to be one tone across the whole thing. Now I'm going to make this a kind of mid-tone, so maybe 3, like that. So I've got a nice medium tone there. I'm going to add the same to my other box, this other box. So the same as when I was doing it before, I'm going to make sure my pencil strokes are going to emphasize the side. So I could go that way or I could go that way, but I'm keeping them in line. So this is something we've done before. So if you haven't seen us do this, then go back and you can watch some of the earlier videos. Now I'm going to keep that really light because I'm going to have that as a tone 1. I'm going to imagine my light source being about there. So that tone 1 is nice and light. Again, I'm using my ruler as a mask, and I'm going to move my chair. I would usually move my paper at this point, but I'm aware that I'm trying to do this without getting in the way. So I'm struggling with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that the other way. I'm actually going to turn my ruler this way, and I'm going to go in this direction. So if I'm saying that is a tone 1 on top, this is going to be probably a tone 4, maybe a tone 5, and I'm going to get a little bit darker. So again, a couple of layers, pushing down a little bit harder. So I've got my kind of box. Now again, I'm going to put my ruler on. Now I'm not lucky enough to be able to use my other hand, so I'm going to have to move around here. And again, I'm going to move with the side. So I'm going to go that way. So I'm going to make this one a tone 3. So I'm not worried about going outside the box, because remember from our other videos, we went back and we rubbed them out. So I've got my box done like that. So the first thing we're going to do is add the tone. So that's stage 1, and it's going to be the same for all our boxes. Next, we're going to look at adding the detail. So stage 2, we're going to add some detail. Now, in mine's, in the wood, it's obviously going to be the grain. So in this case, we're going to add the grain. So if I imagine this could either be the end grain, so this could be the curved grain, so it could go that way, or it could be the long grain, but it can't be both. So I'm just going to make this the curved end grain like that. So again, where the rings are, like that. On this one, I have to make a decision which side I want the end grain to be. I could have it on top here, I could have it on this side, or I could have it on this side. I'm going to make it, in this case, I'm going to make it on the top. So I'm going to make it curve that way. So again, they're not regular. Some are closer, some are further away. Depends on the summer and the winter, whether a good summer, good winter, or a bad winter. And then once I've done that, from the end, they go straight. So from there, they go straight down. They go straight down. They go straight down. Now, another thing that people do is they kind of make it look a little bit wobbly, like a kind of a zebra. And we don't want to make it look nice and wobbly. We want to keep them because they are straight on it like that. So that's my grain. So the final thing I want to do is the outline. So again, thinking back to the spider. Now, if you've got a ruler, that's fine. I know people get very upset when they're sketching with a ruler. But it makes, if you're not confident, now I could quite happily, I could go in and I could darken in my outline quite happily. But if you don't feel confident with that, just use a ruler, nothing wrong with it. And just darken in those outlines. So remember the spider is crawling around those outside edges, so they become dark. Now you can see that I missed that edge completely, but that's okay. So I'll go back in and darken that one again. Right. So from my other video, I told you we could make this little crow's foot at the front and pop it forward, or we could take some of those sides out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little trick to make a little guide for rubbing things out. So I'm going to take a post-it note. You can do it with a bit of paper or anything you want. And I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and I'm just going to chop down the back in a tiny little line, just taking just the edge off it, so that I have a little bit of an erasing shield on there like that. So I've opened up, I've got a little strip like that. Then I can take my rubber, and in this case I'm going to pop it on that corner. Take that corner out, highlight on it, again look through, take that corner out, highlight on it, and maybe take that corner out, highlight on it, like that. And then I'm going to go back in, and in my very, very corner, I'm just going to bring it forward with my little crow's foot like that. So that's my rendered wood. Now if I look at it there, I can see it's actually not picking up very well on the camera here. So I might then go back in and I might darken that down. There's probably not enough difference in tone between the two sides there. So I might go back in and darken that down, that side a little bit. And again, you got to think sketching is really all about evaluation. Does this need to be darker? Does that need to be darker? So I'm going to darken that tone 5 down a little bit. And then I'm going to take my rubber and I'm going to take the bits off that I've gone round the outside and gone over the edges. So I'm just going to take that, use my shield, and just take off anything that I've got left over. Okay, that's the first one. See you in the next video.